She whispered, "This is my last birthday," then he made it unforgettable. The morning sun filtered through the large windows of Café Luna, casting warm golden rays across the wooden tables. Maya sat alone at her usual corner table, staring at the single cupcake she had ordered for herself. 26 candles would have been too much to ask for, so she settled for the simple vanilla cupcake with its lonely swirl of cream frosting. "Happy birthday to me," she whispered to herself, her voice barely audible above the gentle hum of conversation around her. Maya had always loved birthdays, the excitement, the surprises, the feeling of being celebrated. But this year felt different. The diagnosis 3 months ago had changed everything. The doctors had been gentle but clear: stage 4, maybe 6 months, possibly less. Today marked what she believed would be her final birthday, and she couldn't bear the thought of spending it surrounded by tears and pitying glances from family and friends. So here she was, in a cafe where nobody knew her story, trying to create one last normal birthday moment. "Excuse me, miss," came a warm voice from beside her table. Maya looked up to see a tall man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. He wore the cafe's black uniform shirt and held a tablet in his hands. His name tag read, "David." "I couldn't help but notice you're celebrating something special," he said, nodding toward the cupcake. "Birthday?" Maya forced a smile. "Yes, it is." "Well, that's wonderful. Though I have to say, one cupcake seems a bit modest for such an important day. Are you expecting friends to join you?" Something in his genuine tone broke through Maya's carefully constructed walls. Maybe it was the kindness in his eyes, or perhaps it was the weight of carrying her secret alone, but she found herself shaking her head. "No," she said softly, then even softer, "this is my last birthday." The words hung in the air between them. David's expression shifted from cheerful to concerned, and Maya immediately regretted her honesty. "I'm sorry," she added quickly, "I shouldn't have said that. I'm just being dramatic." But David didn't walk away. Instead, he set his tablet down on the table and looked at her with the most genuine compassion she had seen in months. "May I sit for just a moment?" he asked. Maya nodded, confused but somehow grateful for the company. "I lost my sister 2 years ago," David said quietly. "She was 28. Cancer. And I remember her telling me something similar on her last birthday. She said she felt like she was disappearing, like the world was already moving on without her." Tears welled up in Maya's eyes. She hadn't expected this stranger to understand so completely. "But you know what she also told me?" David continued. "She said that even if it was her last birthday, she wanted it to matter. She wanted to feel alive, to feel celebrated, to feel like her life had meaning." Maya wiped away a tear. "How do you do that when time is precious?" David finished gently. "You make every moment count. And sometimes, you let people help you do that." He stood up and gave her a warm smile. "Give me 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere." Before Maya could protest, David was walking away, speaking quietly to other staff members. She watched in bewilderment as the cafe seemed to come alive with quiet activity. 10 minutes later, David returned, but he wasn't alone. The entire cafe staff followed behind him, along with several regular customers who had been quietly informed of the situation. They carried a proper birthday cake, not huge, but beautiful, with colorful frosting and candles that spelled out, "Happy Birthday Maya." "How did you know my name?" she asked, amazed. David smiled. "I asked. Turns out Mrs. Peterson over there," he nodded to an elderly woman beaming at a nearby table, "has seen you here every Tuesday for months. She's been wanting to say hello." As the group gathered around her table, Maya felt overwhelmed. These were strangers, people who owed her nothing, yet they had dropped everything to celebrate with her. "Make a wish," David encouraged as someone lit the candles. Maya closed her eyes. She had expected to wish for more time, for a miracle, for the impossible. Instead, she found herself wishing for something different, for the strength to make her remaining time meaningful, and for the wisdom to recognize the love that surrounded her even in the darkest moments. She blew out the candles to enthusiastic applause and cheers from her impromptu celebration committee. Over the next hour, Maya found herself laughing more than she had in months. Mrs. Peterson shared stories of her own adventures. A young college student named Emma talked about her dreams of traveling the world. A businessman named Frank, who usually sat alone reading newspapers, turned out to have a wonderful sense of humor. David orchestrated it all with the skill of someone who understood that sometimes the most profound kindness comes from treating someone not as a victim of circumstances, but as a person worthy of celebration. As the afternoon wound down and the crowd gradually dispersed, each person stopping to hug Maya and wish her well, David sat back down across from her. "Thank you," Maya said, her voice thick with emotion. "I came here today feeling invisible, like I was already gone. But you, all of you, you made me feel alive again." David reached across the table and squeezed her hand gently. "Maya, I don't know what you're facing, and I won't pretend to understand how hard it must be. But I want you to know something, your life has already touched more people than you realize. Just in this one afternoon, you've reminded all of us what really matters." He was right. Looking around the café, Maya could see the change in atmosphere. Strangers were talking to each other. Mrs. Peterson was sharing her table with Emma, showing her old photographs. Frank was helping the staff clean up, joking with them like an old friend. "You did that," David said. "By being brave enough to be vulnerable, by letting us be part of your story, you've created something beautiful." As Maya finally prepared to leave, David handed her a small envelope. "From all of us," he said. "Don't open it now. Save it for when you need a reminder." That evening, at home, Maya opened the envelope. Inside were dozens of small notes from everyone she had met that day, each sharing what the afternoon had meant to them, each promising to remember her and carry forward the kindness she had inspired. At the bottom, in David's handwriting, were the words that would stay with her forever: "Thank you for reminding us that every day is a gift, and every person we meet is a chance to make the world a little brighter. Your last birthday became our first day of truly understanding what it means to live." Maya smiled through her tears. It had indeed been her most unforgettable birthday, not because it was her last, but because it was the day she learned that love and kindness could transform any ending into a beautiful beginning for someone else.